You know that R-Link stuff I've told you about?
Yeah.
They've sold $150 million worth of nodes in February already.
Sold. Wow. 150 million in nodes. Well, that would be a sizable investment to make into the stability of the program.
Yep, and that's just in February. Um, she told us. Huh, just an update, and this was back on the 5th. 3,000 nodes were sold in the last 24 hours, creating 24 million in sales.
Wow. Well, hopefully they make improvements because I know, like, I would love it to see a Web3 ready conferencing platform.
Yeah. My concern is who's spending all that money. That's all.
Are they individual node runners?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, if they're in a situation where any involvement or participation or influence is based on one party, one party could own a million nodes versus one party owning one, and both of them
Yeah.
have the equal say. Then okay, I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
What's this you got?
This is a recent article from Dario. In the past few days, something rather incredible has happened. Amazon and Google, two cash cows, started to gear up to directly issue debt. Read this headline: Google to join exclusive 100 club with a century long bond. Couldn't hold back a smirk on my face while thinking, this is it. What's the matter with a century bond? While cash cows like Apple issuing debt can be justified when it's a good way to pay less taxes and continue buying back shares to inflate the stock price at the expense of undermining the resilience of the business in case of an economic downturn, issuing a century bond instead is a pretty strong signal that a growth company is turning into value. In a nutshell, the days of spectacular growth are over, as was always the case for every single company that issued century bonds before. Ford Motor Company, Électricité de France, Motorola, IBM, Walt Disney, Coca-Cola, FedEx, Norfolk, J.C. Penney. Hold on a second. Isn't that what I just said clashing completely with the whole AI bandwagon narrative that the whole sector will generate trillions of dollars in revenue in future and unleash spectacular growth? Yes, it does. Let me share a secret with you. When a fixed income investor decides to purchase a bond or not, their goal is to earn an income and to be repaid in full. Consequently, whoever is buying these bonds issued by tech companies isn't betting on AI at all, as the misleading narrative wants you to believe, but it is relying on the current business to remain profitable and able to service the debt obligations. If a fixed income investor is interested in betting on the future business of a company, they buy convertible bonds, not senior bonds. Hilariously, Motorola was the last tech company that issued a century bond in the buildup of the dot-com bubble, and not surprisingly, in 2011, it almost filed for bankruptcy. Why not surprisingly? because asset-light companies like tech businesses aren't fit to bear long-duration debt. Think about it. They move too fast. They innovate too much. Technology changes. How can you say, oh yeah, let's create a 100-year bond on something that will be obsolete in 18 months? Since all it takes for them to go bust is a startup in a garage, coming up with some new technology that disrupts the business model, just like Google did with AOL or Yahoo. Now, I'm sure you'd argue that Amazon, Google, or Oracle are issuing debt to build the AI infrastructure that will serve as collateral for it. Let me ask a question here. How reliable is the profitability of an infrastructure whose components face fast depreciation and a quick path to, oh my goodness, why did the pronunciation of this word now escapes me? Obsolescence. Thank you. Easy answer. Not very reliable, since unless that infrastructure is massively profitable, as in 100 years worth of profits in a very short period of time, it won't be able to repay itself and allow the company to smoothly its debt obligations. This is the exact mistake investors made a few months ago when they jumped headfirst to buy Oracle bonds. Only then quickly regret it, as I explained in AI is Becoming Oracle's Little Bighorn. We've chatted about that. We didn't specifically read that article, but how it is that this money is just, it's the danger of the bond. I think the bond is a wonderful financial instrument, but when anybody can just go ahead and apply it to a depreciating asset, we have a problem automatically. The whole AI charade is now more than 3 years old, and revenues aren't materializing in the spectacular fashion every single tech leader preached for years. The excuse? There is not enough compute. Why is that somehow a bottleneck that only applies to US companies is a question no one dares to ask? When those who are the only ones racing to build as many data centers as possible, while the rest of the world is watching. As I discussed in Data Centers Frenzy, will be remembered as the largest waste of capital in history. 100%. That's why I've been talking about gold and silver is going to be just another rug pull, because they need the gold and silver to build the worst capital investment ever. Alrighty then, let's keep building up data centers, because that's all you need to unlock the biggest revenue pot in the history of mankind. But since this will be a race where the winner takes all, these hyperscalers need to be the first ones to strike gold. As a result, since their cash flow will not be enough anymore to keep pace, they will have to fill the gap by issuing debt, exactly like Oracle did, and Amazon and Google are doing now. Wait a second. Weren't leaders already supporting the data centers buildup?
Lenders.
Lending money? What's that?
Lenders, not leaders.
Oh, sorry. Yep. Weren't lenders already supporting the data centers buildup? Lending money to SPVs and allowing hyperscalers to keep most of the debt off the books? Yes. That's exactly what's been happening till Blue Owl folded. Oracle stock dips 5% as Blue Owl Capital pulls out of funding a $10 billion data center. Why did Blue Owl, arguably the biggest supporter of the debt-funded data centers build up, fold? Because the data centers business is not only profitable, but as I mentioned earlier, the collateral provided against the debt loses value very quickly. Best example of this whole dynamic is CoreWeave. Since I stated that CoreWeave is the WeWork of AI, WeWork is it's a co-work space, and they have a network of locations all over in almost every major city. They have a WeWork space where it's a commercial area where they've got, you know, 20 to 50 offices that small entrepreneurs can rent for $800 to $1,000 a month, creating a good source of revenue for in commercial space. But CoreWeave was doing the same thing with AIs. At the beginning of January, something important happened, albeit the market broadly ignored it. CoreWeave has been thrown a $2 billion lifeline by none other than NVIDIA. Why such a move? Here's CoreWeave's loan repayment schedule. Let's not forget loans that are guaranteed mostly by H100 GPUs, whose commercial value is now much inferior, and the company is hardly generating any cash to make repayments. Imagine that. They front load a whole bunch of money into chips that aren't able to do the job within a year.
That's crazy.
And they have to pay it back. So of course they're going to issue debt to make it work. Furthermore, even if CoreWeave already put its capex plans from 20 to 30 billion to 12 to 14 billion, so they're cutting almost by half. There's no chance on earth they can keep that plan in place when lenders are not backing up the company anymore. The reason why CoreWeave had to fall back on its supplier, customer, and investor for a cash infusion. The end of this story is already written. CoreWeave will either file for bankruptcy or be acquired for pennies on the dollar by a much larger company. It's only a matter of when, not if. And that cascade will occur clear across the board. Here's where the big nonsense lies. If a data center company's business isn't viable, how would that change if directly taken over by a larger company? Well, of course it won't. But at least it was cheaper. The reason why Oracle is now in trouble. Would that change if the operations were directly and fully handled by the hyperscalers? Of course not, because the math doesn't change. And what the math is screaming is that the revenues to be expected from AI will be a fraction of the projections presented so far. Isn't that funny, eh? The very machine they said was going to create all of the abundance, it just keeps getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper from underneath their infrastructure.
So if the projections are way overvalued, the whole silver and gold thing, rug pull that you're talking about, won't actually happen, or the demand for gold and silver in the AI realm won't come to fruition.
Not to the degree that they think. Well, and I think what we're going to see is the gold and silver spike is going to be drawn out through war.
Okay.
All of this makes me think about when NVIDIA and who else? There's like three of them that have this financial merry-go-round occurring. I'm thinking that when that financial merry-go-round starts to topple or does topple, that all of the rest of this is collateral damage, as it were.
Yep. What you're talking about, that money pool is right here. There's OpenAI, Microsoft. Here's CoreWeave, Lambda, Nebius. These are
Lenders?
these are
Oh, no.
the data centers, right? Well,
Oh.
Oracle is lending to them.
No,
The-
lenders are lending to Oracle and to them.
Lenders. Oh, sorry. Yes, lenders to Oracle and to the equity investors.
Wow.
Equity investors also giving to OpenAI, but the money just gets passed around from corporation to corporation to corporation to corporation to keep it afloat.
Make it look
Real
like things are happening.
Yeah,
Beautiful
real
show.
customers. The actual end user is right here using OpenAI. AMD, they make computer chips for end users.
Oh.
So AMD chips, they are, they're basically the option to Intel. But AMD chips have they have a more efficient processing capacity, especially for servers. And so it's a preferred chip for a lot of higher end users of LLMs. So yeah, because the whole AI bubble has been inflated thanks to the largest circular financing scheme ever built. The Ponzi scheme. Oops, sorry, I meant to say bubble. See, he has the same problem getting terms all mixed up. Will remain in place till all participants are able to suck in more cash than the one that's being incinerated. Who is the best deceiver out there? That's who's going to win. Mag 7 now issuing debt outright will allow this scheme to continue a little longer. But once even the lenders willing to hand over cash to them are exhausted, and there won't be any way to keep this whole house of cards standing.
Huh. Can you send a link to that, please?
Yeah, I'll throw it in
Chat.
the Telegram chat, yeah.
That's
Yep,
cool.
indeed. So, yeah, that I wanted to share that. That was written a few days ago. Actually, probably a week ago now. Yeah, it was 11th. But I wanted to bring that up because it does round out that conversation about how gold and silver is also a rug pull.
Now, how do you mean by that? Like, are you saying that investing in gold and silver is eventually going to work against you, or what are you saying?
Yes.
How is it going to be a rug pull?
It's going to be
That
a rug pull because in the same way that it did this back in, let's go to the weekly chart on gold. Weekly chart. So in the same way, we had this rise in the 70s and then it went down. We're going to
Yeah.
see that same type of price action. We're going to see a huge rise and then it's going to come on the other side. You know, that's a 65% drop. But this is the digital age. We are not going to be neat. All of this infrastructure, everything during this time here, everything from 94, 95 in this area here where gold was flatlined. Everything in here was all building the digital age. You know, we had computers and all that stuff, sure, but when we started networking those computers, we unleashed a beast, a flywheel, as it were, takes on a momentum of its own. And ever since then, it's been chips, 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 chips. We need more gold and silver. We need more gold and silver. Why? Because the demand for chips are going up. Well, I think that in order to keep this charade going, they are going to declare war, and it's going to be over machines. It's going to be whoever gets the best machine, and the stable coins will be the war bonds that people can just quickly, easily get into. Find your nearest exchange.
So how will that relate to gold and silver?
And the demand for the chips are no longer, there will be no reason for the gold and silver to be used for chips. And that will bring the other side of the bubble. That'll bring this gold and silver run to its completion and it'll come back down. And I believe it will be so substantial that it will require nations to renegotiate all their energy contracts. This because the dollar itself is all it was ever propped up by was the trade deal between the U.S. and Saudi Arabia. It's the only thing that kept the dollar going when after they depegged it from the gold standard. And so because the dollar itself was used as that means of exchange between nations as the world reserve currency, energy contracts were denominated with that. But since 2022, the US dollar has not been backed by the energy contracts that they have with Saudi Arabia because that contract was 50 years and it ended January 2022.
So you're saying that gold and silver are going to drop in value substantially?
Yes, not from here. I don't think from here. Maybe. I mean, the knife
current
edge is very fine right now.
Because the current run-up began 25 years ago.
Yep.
That's a long time in this day and age. I've got to go. I've got an important call I've got to take.
Okay, awesome. Good to see
Sorry
you.
about that.
Oh, don't be sorry. So yes, I saw that article and I was like, you know what? That really does help paint the picture a little bit further with numbers and companies and names to this idea that the gold and silver is just as much of a bubble simply because the war for the best chips has only just begun.
Well, and
I think it's
I think the game is to pay attention as the war goes on and listen as peace arrives and get the flip out of it. Get into land, get into physical assets.
That brings us back to that all important strategy. You do not have a trade strategy if you don't have an exit plan.
Well, even in the Colburn, I don't know, was that this morning or was that yesterday where it talked about you can't eat gold and silver?
Yeah. That's right. Don't attach your life to it. Don't attach your wealth to it. Don't sit there and be like, "Oh yeah, I'm good now." No, it's just another asset that rises and falls. Because and the reason why is because it's all based off of the belief that that's what it's worth, right? The thing that we're sitting there saying it's worth this is fake. The thing that we're using to peg the value of the metal is fake. It's all based off of supply and demand when it comes right down to it, and nature corrects herself. Nature corrects herself. That's the law.
Mm-hmm.
So we come back to this conversation, the ratio between gold and silver, the lowest it's ever been since the manipulation of the markets through futures. The lowest it had ever been prior is 31.9 ounces.
Oh. Wow.
I don't have the data beforehand on this chart. I'd have to go and look at some other sources to find the data from before. But I mean, we dipped down and the low that we experienced here was only 54 ounces right there. 54 ounces for 1 ounce of gold. That's the lowest.
And we're at 60 now?
Right now, sitting at 66 ounces per ounce of gold.
So maybe starting at 30, starting to look at offloading silver to gold. Dollar cost average it down. Yeah.
Yep. That's why I'm saying, like, by the time it's 20, you should be very, very much already selling out. And by 15, if you're not done, you might lose that one, right? Because it's going to whiplash back. That's going to go crazy. I do believe that we will see stability And that gold and silver, after all of the fraud has been exposed and after the people finally clue in that none of this AI stuff was actually necessary, that we had the capacity to network our consciousnesses without tech. When that occurs, I think that it will probably sit around, 15, 20, maybe down to 12, 10 ounces per ounce of gold, depending on the season, depending on the supply and demand. What's been mined, what's been utilized, what still has use. I think that people are still going to value silver. It's just going to be for a different purpose. Right now, it's for gaining wealth. But afterwards, it ought to be silverware, like forks and spoons and knives, instead of
Jewelry.
putting metal in our mouths. Like iron, gross. What were we
Titanium.
thinking? Oh, right, because silver was too expensive. So I don't think that, I think that when nature corrects herself, it'll be a wonderful thing. We won't be sitting here trying to it's like even the ratio is still calculated using dollars, because what are we doing? We're dividing the price of gold by the price of silver. Yeah. So it's like we're not really getting ahead until we see nature correct herself. Then it's like, okay, now we know what things are worth. And the chances are that silver will be at such a ratio of gold that you'll be able to trade the silver for gold so you can get land a lot easier. People are going to be upside down on their land. There's going to be no more equity left in their land because nobody's going to be able to afford the interest rates. So the prices of real estate are going to drop so fast that people are going to be upside down, and they will kiss you for offering gold for their land, and it won't take much. And if you can buy gold, man, think about that for a second. If let's say, for instance, it gets down to 25 ounces for an ounce of gold. How much did 25 ounces cost when I first started talking about getting it? Let's go back to the weekly chart. 2010. Yep. Coming up to the end of 2010, it was $17. So we take $17 and we times that by 25, because that's how many ounces you're going to need to get that gold. You are getting gold for $425 an ounce. If you don't have an exit strategy, you're not trading. And if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So yeah, that was the big topic of the day. Bitcoin dominance, going into the cryptos here. Wow, no, let's go and quickly check out the US 30 here. It's been consolidating. It bumped up that all-time high. It's been dropped down and found that support from the previous high. It's sitting now at 49.5. Gold consolidating as well. Silver. Next time we see a trend, I will update the numbers on the US 30. But it's been all within point. It's all been within half of an ounce since the drop. All right, Bitcoin dominance dropping still. We're seeing trend continue. If we create another new low, I think we'll see an acceleration in Bitcoin's drop. Be mindful, we are at a major point of support, major pivot point right now where we are. And so it is entirely possible that we rise up for a little bit more. But that if we do, it's going to be very difficult for the dominance to get above both the long-term trend line and that long-term pivot line at that 60% mark. And remember, when it drops, we do see a very significant rise in market capitalization for altcoins. Bitcoin prices still fluctuating within this range between the two pivot points since that drop. It's a crucial level. We do have the capacity, without breaking market structure on the weekly chart, we do have the capacity to test $50,000 price point. Be mindful, ETFs were issued at 42,000. Ethereum, also nice and deep, but not breaking market structure in the slightest. And we talked about that last market analysis, I think. Going to the weekly chart, we can see that we've been consolidating since 2021. We actually have not been trending at all. While there is volatility, there is no trend. ADA. Now also, let's go to the daily chart. We can see that that B has strongly tested old levels from June 2023. Go to the daily chart, we can see that we have an AB formed. We are now patiently waiting for C. And technically, it's there already. It's a very short retracement at the moment. Given the position where we are, this is a major level here. This low is on the monthly chart. No, I should say this is rather the weekly. I'm going to go ahead and make another set of this, but I'm going to change the color so that we can identify that weekly. So A, change the color, we'll just make it green. B. So on the weekly chart, we are still just experiencing consolidation, just at a lower level than Ethereum. That's on ADA. The white ones are the daily chart currently. Currently the daily chart we're watching. That on the weekly, we haven't even broken market structure. I'm going to bring up a couple other ones here. We went through a bunch of these yesterday for the altcoins, but I'll just touch base on some of the major ones. Injective token, sitting now at $3.15. XRP, forming new lows, actually of greater significance and volatility than most of the other altcoins. BitTensor, on the daily chart, basically where we were yesterday, finding possibly some resistance here on this long-term trend line. Although, can also be said that I would say by the end of this week, we will know whether or not it may find support. Fetch, for the ecosystem of artificial intelligence that values the data creation of the individual, sitting at 17 cents. Going on to NPC, it found a recent low from March 2025. Bouncing off of that at the moment. There's our current trend. SPX experiencing a pretty wide channel, downward channel here. And it's a pretty accelerated one. Let's go to let's just zoom in a little bit. It's not too bad. But we have a channel. And currently, we're right around the middle of that channel. But there you have it. That's the general lookout of things. Any questions?
Still looks like a wait, hold and wait.
Yep.
Please stand by.
Buy the dips whenever you can. Yeah, I can't think of anything else really to cover right now. I wanted to get some clarity on that. I have felt that when I have talked about the gold and silver precious metals being a bubble, some people don't, it's not that they're balking at it, but that they're wondering what that really is about. So I wanted to bring in Dario's perspective there simply because of his way of being able to describe it as good, since he has a lot of the lingo of the financial system. Me, I'm just a parrot. Yeah. How's it going, Audrey?
Good.
Yeah.
Feels like I haven't seen you guys in forever.
It
'Cause you
has been.
haven't. Well, you're more blonde now.
What's that?
You're more blonde. Or is it simply the light? Oh, there she's gone.
Goodbye, blonde. Well, maybe it might be just under the light.
Oh yeah.
I'm sitting in a different spot.
Yeah, as you move, it changes, but it's nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So getting there though. Getting motorhome's working.
Yay.
It drives.
Oh yeah.
It drives. So I could drive down to you guys and see ya.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Should go to the Church of the Elders with it.
What's that?
Should come to the Church of Elders with us.
What is that?
I've been calling it that for about a couple of weeks now. But once a week, of course, Audrey, Lynn, and I, we go to the mountains. And so what we're starting is a monthly trip where it's open to people can come.
Okay.
And so we call it Church of the Elders. And the purpose is simply to be out in nature. There's no cell reception. There's no point in even bringing your phone because it doesn't work unless you want to take pictures.
Mm-hmm.
And we find the elders. And the elders are referencing a grove of trees, smaller trees that we recognize as trees with needles. And one of the trees at that location is 3,500 years old. And so from there, we find connection with God.
Mm-hmm.
Simply because we see his likeness reflected in creation.
Cool.
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, that's Saturday.
This Saturday?
Yep.
Okay. This Saturday is not the market.
No,
Next weekend.
28th.
Next week.
28th. Okay.
Well, that's if we're doing market. That's
Right. Because there hasn't been any vendors, right?
Nothing.
Wow. You know, that's what I'm finding is people are just so stuck in the mud
Yep.
right now.
Well, I think they're holding their breath, waiting for this referendum to occur, or the vote to have a referendum to occur.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. And then they'll wait for the referendum. And then they'll wait until it happens. And then they'll wait until something happens. And then they'll wait. It's like everybody's waiting for somebody else to do something.
Yep.
Another
Is it
content creator calls it the Patriot Pacification Program.
Ugh.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm finding that at the moment, I have to get all the little bells and whistles and shit in Canada to cross the border.
Right.
Oh. Well, let's see
However,
what happens for tomorrow
see
night.
what happens tomorrow night. Did you see the message in Telegram?
Oh, yeah, yeah. I'll be there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll be there for sure. I'm just getting quotes right now.
Yeah, I have. Oh, you mean bells and whistles for the machine, the
Motorhome. Yeah.
Right.
Well, insurance registration.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But for myself, like if I could get out of the Canada realm, then
Mhm.
how would I do the vehicle out of the Canada realm too, right?
Well, there you may still keep the motorhome all buttoned up, but use it as a trustee so that all of it is, all of it is above board for the agents on the road with restricted firearms. That even if you have everything done for paperwork, unfortunately, there are those that would seize your property and put it away for a month, and you have to pay, $90 a day in storage.
Mhm. Mm-hmm.
So, for me, I kind of see the insurance and the registration as a form of insurance against the theft.
Right.
Not that it makes it lawful or right at all, but it certainly can be a greater inconvenience the other way. The
Yeah.
good news is that as a trustee, you don't own it, so they can't, they can't take it from you. If the cop feels like everything's, oh, okay, it's owned by a trust. I see. Oh, your name's not on it. Oh, okay. But you won't be able to communicate to them much more than what they're capable of understanding.
Yeah, well, I kind of want to know all of the things that I need now to be able to cross. And if I can get it into the trust, how do I do that?
Yeah, perfect. It's sell it to it. Sell the machine to the trust.
Okay.
And let's I'm excited to see what happens with Chief Musqua. He might not be able to, get us all signed up for passports this week, but I know that is something that's imminent for him.
How do you spell his name? Musk.
Muskwa, Muskwa.
Okay.
And he is a chief amongst his
Yep.
people.
Okay. Yeah, because if I can get that into that would be the biggest thing.
Mhm.
And be able to cross borders,
Yep.
right? That's the biggest thing because I've got 2 borders to cross.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, of course.
I guess if I have to be the little guinea pig, I'm okay with that.
Test animal. Test animal.
Test animal.
Guinea pigs are wonderful creatures, and I love them all.
Well, animals and testing on them is horrible.
Yes. Yes.
So
If we're not gonna test
what are they?
Babies.
I'm a test monster. What? I'm a test. What are those? What is horrible things?
Politician.
Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, I'm just testing it out to see how I can get across and
Yeah.
try and be out, because I phoned this Desiree from the US and she knows how to do it with agents within the US,
Aha. Yeah.
but she hasn't tested it out with border agents.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's the problem,
Yeah.
right? Because border agents have a little bit more jurisdiction.
Delicious.
Oh my.
Yes, apparently in Peru they eat them. No.
Okay.
Oh man, I
No.
can't imagine. I mean, can you imagine?
They're just
You know,
rabbits.
something
They'd
like
be
this,
just like
this
rabbits.
big is on your plate, and you're just like,
They're
Yeah,
just
but no,
like
no,
rabbits.
there's very little meat on that. I mean, you're sucking bones most of the time.
Yeah, it's like a
how
rabbit.
can
You're
they be
sucking bones.
delicious if there's just not much meat?
I don't know.
What's the
Mega
flavor?
dude, mega
Maybe they-
dude, you gotta enlighten us with some more comments here.
Yeah, what do you mean?
Oh, and they're
He's
gone.
Yep, he's gone. All right. That's funny. Cool. Okay, yeah. So tomorrow night I'll definitely be there.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
And Kim keeps asking, but she's still in that world. She's the one that created some of the, like, did the whole new birth certificates within the whatever, and she was the one that created all the driver's license. Yeah, so she was the CFO of the courts, law courts. So she created all those systems.
Yep.
She knows a lot. So
Yeah.
that's the thing, Paul, is if you could get a little bit of insight out of her, maybe we can kind of
Yeah.
figure out more ways around it.
I always love collaborating. Love
Yeah.
collaborating with people with that kind of knowledge. Oh, here
Yeah.
we go. The answer. Mega dude, thank you so
Turn
much.
them
for
into a stew.
Now we know. See, now we know. You know, it's one thing to go through the process of finding out how to cross borders without a passport, but I mean, this is quality knowledge here for market analysis, I tell you.
Yeah.
So instead of eating Fluffy or Fido, we'll go for the the Ginter pigs.
Yeah.
Well, they breed pretty fast, I'm told.
Yeah. Like rabbits. Rabbits and guinea pigs. They're definitely faster than chickens.
Yeah.
Oh, and you can do stuff with their pelts too.
You
Oh
can make-
yeah, you could make little tiny rugs for the playhouses.
No, you have to sew them together.
You sew them together and you can make a whole blanket.
A coat,
Yeah.
a coat of
Quilt.
many colors.
It's like a quilt. Patchwork quilt.
Yeah. Oh my God. And we digress.
Gosh, I'm feeling hungry.
I could make a guinea pig skin hat. Because
Yeah.
this is a pig skin hat. So I could
Mhm.
make a guinea pig skin hat too.
Mm-hmm.
Mega dude, do you want to go into business together? I think we could probably make something out of this. Think about it. If you got a food truck, you could have the guinea pig stew coming out the front, but you got the guinea pig skin hats going out the back.
Well, and on the side, you can sell the guinea pigs to the kids and traumatize
One-
them for
Yeah, the ones that are too small for the stew.
Fatten them up.
Yeah, just you know what? That's what you could do. You could have a little cage of them next to the food truck, and you just hand out crackers to the kids, and the kids will just love giving the guinea pigs the crackers, and you're just going, oh yeah.
So that's, first of all, sounds like
$9
Hansel
a
and
pop.
Gretel. That sounds like Hansel and Gretel.
Well, the food truck is carnivorous.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep. It's got the oven in it.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Go to sleep.
I don't know. What's more traumatizing?
Life is traumatizing.
Not life is a trauma.
What being born is a traumatic experience. Just coming out through that canal.
Don't remember. Long time ago.
Oh my gosh.
I don't remember that, but I remember the other part, like pushing it out of the canal. That wasn't fun.
No, that's
Oh, I-
traumatic too.
Yeah,
That's a
I
traumatic
didn't
experience, too.
get that. They had to do some cut and stitch on
Mhm.
me. Yeah.
No, mine were all natural, and wouldn't recommend it.
Well, it was an experience that I wanted to have this life, and I'm grateful that I'm alive instead.
Yes. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, cool. Awesome.
Well,
So we'll
that's
see you
all I
guys
got for
tomorrow.
today. Yep,
Perfect.
tomorrow
Well,
morning and
tomorrow-
evening. What's that?
Double dose. We said it at the same time.
Yes. Double dose.
Yep.
Perfect. Well,
Wonderful.
awesome. Take care,
Have
you
a
guys.
good rest of the day,
Thanks.
everyone.